Actually, I'm trying to keep that up in the air. So, good morning. It's great to be with you this morning. Last night was obviously a great event. I'm very honored by the support of the citizens of the state of Michigan and looking very much to reinventing our state. And as part of that process, it's time to get the work started. So I'm pleased to be here today to announce the leadership of our transition team. And we're announcing 3 key positions today for the transition team. The first one is, leading that effort is Doug Rothwell, who's the CEO of the Business Leaders of Michigan. The 2 other leadership people co-chairing the effort, one is Sharon Rothwell, who's with Masco Corporation, and the third person is Mark Murray, the president of Myers. These are all outstanding individuals. I'm honored to have the opportunity to work with them. I've had the pleasure of working with them in different capacities over the last dozen years, and I think they form a great nucleus of Michiganders that have both public experience and private experience, and a wonderful combination to deliver great results. So they're going to be the core and the nucleus of kicking off this effort to build a great administration. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And with that, I'm honored to have an opportunity to ask Doug to come up and make a couple comments. Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Governor. Well, just all I want to say is how honored I am to do this. It is a great way to bring service back to the state of Michigan, a state that has been so good to me. But also, it's such a pleasure to do it for a friend like the governor-elect, somebody, as he mentioned, I've known now for about a dozen years, and was, remember, our first board chair at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And so it's a great honor to do it, and Mark and Sharon are going to be a great part of the team to make this a really, really smooth transition for this new administration. So, again, thank you, Governor, for all the support and the help, and we look forward to working with you.
So it's great to have Doug and Sharon and Mark on board. What a fabulous group of people and their experiences. Just a couple other notes I would mention to you. One is in the next day or so we'll be announcing our transition website, where we'll have more information and have that out to the public in terms of where they can see what's going on with our processes. The second thing is I would say I think we're on a positive path already to be able to make some announcements with respect to some of the appointments for the administration, or what we'll recommend for appointments next week. So we're moving right ahead. It is time to get the hard work going, and I'm excited. So with that, let me stop and take a few questions.
What would you like to see, if anything, from the legislature between now and the
In terms of looking at that, there's several things potentially out there, but that's premature to talk about that. We'll really spend some time looking at what would be the lame duck session. But the real focus is going to be January 1, and the focus on the need for more and better jobs in our state. So that's going to be the primary focus.
But you did say that the Snyder administration begins today. I know that you're doing the transition and all that, but what elements do you want to get rolling so that you're ready going in January 1st?
Well, again, that's building the team, putting that in place, because Governor Granholm is in charge until January 1, and that's our opportunity to take the leadership. And I appreciate it. We had a good meeting with her today. And I thought that was very helpful and very cordial. So hopefully we're going to have a good working relationship during this transition period.
Now that the dust is cleared and the voting is over, could you give small businesses and average families an idea of what they can expect in the next few years under your leadership in terms of taxes, state services? What's going to happen?
Well, it's a great opportunity. I mean, that's a big part of our campaign, both for small businesses and individuals, because I've said from day one, it's about customer service government. It's about starting to treat our citizens and our organizations as the customer. That's what they deserve, and getting away from bureaucracy. So I think there's a great opportunity there, both in terms of an improved tax structure, an improved regulatory environment. Again, just not the amount of regulation, but how people are being treated. Treating people as good, honest people, and having us really focus more on the exceptions and the problems. And then on the economic development front, I would add that there's been too much effort on the hunting side, looking for out-of-state companies, that the primary focus we're going to get back to is helping Michigan companies, Michiganders create companies, small businesses grow, and all-size businesses succeed, and really focus in on helping Michiganders be the core of our comeback, because that's how it's going to happen, and we're on that path.
You said that you wanted to get away from career politicians and career politics. How do you think that your experience in the business sector and the members of your transition team are going to help you accomplish that goal and lead Michigan in a new direction?
Well, it's bringing the best people together that may have public experience, but they also have great private experience. And I think if you look at the three individuals we're putting on our team today, they are great representations of that. They were fine, outstanding public servants, and at the same time, they have tremendous private sector experience in a very positive way. So it's a blend of both worlds. And what I've said is, it's not an issue of having a problem with people in Lansing per se. I'm looking for people that really agree with the vision I'm setting out about the new era of innovation, are on board with the 10-point plan, and I will come back to saying that also agree with the values that we want to live by in terms of honesty, integrity, those core fundamentals that we want every person to have. So I'm excited for that.
Might you
Paul?
elaborate a little more on?
Sorry, can you share some of your ideas on the structure of state government? Will we see fewer departments? Can you give maybe just some idea of what you're looking at there?
That's somewhat premature, Paul, but as a practical matter, we're going to be looking hard at that, because what I really want to focus on, and I've said this before, is the traditional government model is all about functions and activities. And the focus of our government, the way we're going to move in terms of the budget, and I hope structure, is get to more to outcomes and results and really be measured on that, because that's what really matters. The Lansing model has been too much about fund this, fund that, and I really want to put the question out there. One of the fundamental questions I'm going to ask in every meeting is, tell me the outcome or result that's being delivered that's measurable and meaningful to real people. And that's the starting point of the discussion, as opposed to saying it's about writing a check.
Might you elaborate a little more on the three people you've chosen and what aspect of the transition they'll all be handling?
Sure. Well, Doug's going to handle the overall responsibility. He's chairing the effort. Sharon, in particular, has great experience with the executive office and all those kind of issues and topics. She was chief of staff for Governor Engler. And then Mark Murray was both budget director and treasurer for the state. So in terms of fiscal and financial matters, these are people, you couldn't find better people in the entire state. So I'm very proud to have them on board and excited to work with them.
Well, are you handling to come up with a spreadsheet on where the Michigan finances really are?
That'll take some time in terms of doing a spreadsheet on the finances. One thing, though, I've called for from day one that we're going to really be kicking off or moving ahead with is the plain language balance sheet and financial statements. And I hope to have that January 1, where literally we can hand out a document to the average citizen to say, here is something to explain where we stand today. Beyond that, what I want to do is have it done in a plug-and-play fashion, because I'm going to ask that be done for every jurisdiction in our state. That will take some time to do it for every jurisdiction, but at the state level, I hope to have that January 1.
Well, have you started on that now, and you have until March 1st to submit a budget? You will meet that deadline.
Oh, in terms of the budget per se, I was talking about a statement of the CAFR in plain language, Tim. But if you talk about a budget, we have a deadline to hit in terms of March for a budget, and we'll hit that deadline.
Governor, from the sound of it,
I still have the elect part right now, but yes, thank you.
split the middle, split down the middle. But you said, the big thing for you is reinventing the state. We need to reinvent Michigan. And from what I'm hearing you say right now is that that now Michigan is going to be run as a business. Is that fair to say?
No, not really, because what I will tell you, business and government are different. There is no profit motive in government. But there is something that business has that needs to come to government that, in my view, has been missing far too long, and that's showing a positive return on investment. The case of government, though, we need to show a positive return on investment to society, our citizens, our customers, in terms of evaluating what we're doing. It's not just about spending money or doing an activity. It's showing a meaningful, measurable, tangible outcome that positively impacts real people. And that's the focus we're going to bring to Lansing, and that's long overdue.
So what are the outcomes we need? What are the outcomes we need?
Well, we have a lot of outcomes in terms of better education, in terms of economic development, about more and better jobs. That was the whole theme of our election, how we create more and better jobs, and we'll make that happen.
One of the things that I think people are excited about is to hear you talk about cities and reinventing the cities and rebuilding the cities, and certainly Detroit is struggling. And can you give us some concrete ideas of what you'd like to see, what you'd like to do?
Well, in terms of the city, what I've said is it's really a partnership opportunity, because the role of governor is not to run any particular city. And what I want to make sure we're doing is providing the best partnership or relationship with Mayor Bang and the City Council, because that's the opportunity. If you look at the history of Detroit or some of our other central cities, the traditional challenge has not been what needs to be done. It's fully implementing those items. And historically, people would hit barriers, challenges, they would get ground down, wear down, and we would sort of stop many of those implementation ideas. So what I want to do is work closely with the mayor and the administration there to say, we're going to be the best partner to make sure those barriers don't stop us, that we break through those things. And I'm happy to say Mayor Bing was very gracious. He called last night and we had a short discussion. So I look forward to hooking up with him soon and working in a very positive, constructive way, along with a number of other great calls from many other places across the state.
Will you promise not to allow Detroit to go into bankruptcy?
No promises, Tim. I mean, clearly the goal would be to avoid bankruptcy. That's a terrible answer for everyone in terms of looking at it. But again, we need to work on a situation where that's a hypothetical. Let's make it so Detroit can work without getting it to that point.
You talked to the mayor last night. What did you talk about?
Well, it's just a nice call in many respects, calling to say congratulations, and I appreciated it, and how he's looking forward to sitting down and talking. So it's a starting point, much like meeting with the governor today. There's a lot of relationships that in some cases I've known some of these people, in many other cases I really haven't. So it's a great starting point to say, let's get going. And the best part is we started last night, we started today, and we're going to keep going.
And then what did you and the governor talk about?
We talked about transition, about how we can work well together, and how they can help get us up to speed from their perspective of what the most pressing issues are, where they stand on a lot of different things, how we can work together in terms of a transition. Because there are a lot of challenging issues that are on the table out there, and we'll work through that in a positive way.
Did she tell you what the most pressing issue is or issues are?
No, we didn't get to that point. Actually, she was very kind, though, to talk about some of the personal sides of being governor. So I appreciated that, about the issues of having kids and family and how to work through that. So that was very kind of her.
Yeah, the legislative.
Mr. Snyder, having said that, what piece of advice did she give you that stands out in your mind?
Well, some of it was on the personal side. She actually talked about how they have 3 kids, and their kids are about the same ages as ours, and how she and her husband would be happy to sit down to give us some thoughts on the issues they faced and how they dealt with them, and I thanked her for that, and I look forward to having that discussion because it's important. I mean, that's where I do really appreciate my family being part of this whole process and working together on it, and how we're all going to work together to make Michigan great again.
She did tell you to keep the kids away from the media, right?
Not all the media. I'm just kidding.
You have legislative leadership positions to be selected fairly soon. Do you want to play any role in that? Do you have any kind of person in mind that is the right mix for your agenda and what you want to accomplish in the legislature?
Well, that's up to the chambers. I mean, there are good people already there. There are good people that are interested in the position, and I'm sure they'll work through that, and we can work well with the leadership that comes out of that process. And I'm just looking forward to building a good relationship of trust, because I need to partner with them. It's not telling the legislature what to do. It's being the best partner with them. And that's why I'm excited to have Brian Calley as Lieutenant Governor. He brings a lot of great experience there. So we've got a great team already coming together to work with the legislature, and we're going to continue to add to that.
Thank you, Governor-elect. That's all we have time for.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.